Bueno, bienvenidas. Un placer una vez más compartir con esta maravillosa comunidad de We Evolution, traerles más sobre los instintos conativos. Y la verdad es que la presentación esta noche va a ser en inglés, pero quería hablar un poquito en español para conectar con ustedes. Hi, good afternoon. I am super excited to be here again with this wonderful We Evolution community to share more about your striving instincts and your cognitive strengths. And tonight, this is what we're going to be talking about. Some of you have received this Kolbe since like 2 years ago before COVID started. And now we're tracing it back and bringing you how to understand the results, how to understand more what this is all about. How can this help you in your personal life? And how can it help you and your team and your organization? In a brief way, we're going to go over all of this today. And basically, striving instincts is about how you trust your gut. And they're very important because when you trust them and when you actually follow them, you will make better decisions and better choices, and that will help you increase your productivity. So that's the best way to thrive. When you know yourself well and knowing the cognitive part of your brain, it's the best way to know who you are from the inside out. And then when you learn how other people are as well, and you're working with them or you're in relationship with them, you can actually maximize each other's strengths. And the beginning slide is to invite you to trust your instincts, to learn how to do more naturally, and to get into the cognitive inclusion that I like to call, so you can thrive by striving and not by forcing yourself or forcing others. Many of you know me. My name is Ángela de Sousa. I am the CEO of Dynamic Growth Consulting. I've got many years of speaking internationally for businesses and organizations, for schools, for universities, and a lot of hours helping impact leaders around the globe and their teams to actually bring down the level of stress or strain they have with each other, especially now after COVID, that everybody is overwhelmed. And I love doing this by facilitating, by training, by consulting, which is coaching and consulting, because during the consultation part of our meeting is where I can grab more information about what do you really need, what are you looking for? Because many times when I go visit my clients or when I speak with a coaching client, they come with one particular problem, but when we actually go more in depth, I tend to find out that it's not just maybe a coaching situation. There's a lot going on. So in order to define how can I best help you, we need to do a little bit of consultation, and then we figure out if it's only coaching or if you actually need a lot more for you, your relationship, or your team or your business. And I also have a coaching academy, Global You Coaching Academy, which is in Spanish online. So there are many hours of facilitating for that as well. And we seem to have a very high rate supporting our leaders and supporting our entrepreneurs through life transitions. And I'm also the former president of ICF South Florida. But my favorite thing about this slide is this particular quote that I live and lead by today, which is, today's leadership is not about how well people are executing their job. And it's more about how well are you or they or them, your team, your organization, while executing it. So we're bringing a lot of wellness back into work. These are some of the brands that have trusted us. Some of these brands that have trusted us, I've actually worked with TC. So this has been an alliance we've been working on for years now. And a lot of other logos you see here are the organizations that I've spoken with too, that we have done Kolbe with and too, and facilitations and consulting. So this way you can see a little bit of my background that I usually do not share with this community. I tend to show up as Angie. So to begin with, I would like to know about who's here today. Give me like, what's your name? What's your job role? How many years have you been in your company? And what do you think or you want to, or you expected to learn today in this presentation? So this is talking to Regina tonight, who's going to have a personalized debriefing today, which will make it a lot of fun.
Okay. Okay, so my name is Regina, and I have been the CEO for my own company for the past, more than 20 years now. It's a family business, and currently I'm running a magazine, a digital magazine, a TV channel, and some other media for Honduras. And what was the last question?
How many people do you have working for you and the organization?
Okay, in our group, we have around 250 people working for all the companies in our group. And the reason why I like learning about this strength is because I think you get to mature yourself and you get to learn new things every year. So perhaps your strengths are gonna change eventually. And I think you really need to know yourself in order to perform in a better way.
I love it. I love it. Regina, and thank you for sharing that. The great thing about Kolbe and about getting your Kolbe results, your Kolbe A results, because today we invited you to take the A and the B. Regina had taken the A a couple of years ago before COVID, and now she's going to take the B. So we're going to talk about the B later a little bit more. The great thing about Kolbe A, your Kolbe A results is your natural MO. So it's a natural instinctive way that you take action, that you manage risk, that you manage information. And that doesn't change over the years because it's the way you're born. It's your natural born killer, like the movie, you know, it's the way that you are, and that doesn't change. What you will see with the results is that you can find someone who is in transition. That means they're going through struggles in their life or a transition or a challenge. And then we wait a few months in order to give them another Kolbe A to reassess where they're at. And we see this. This is very common. There's nothing wrong with you. And the other beautiful thing about Kolbe is that it is your perfect score. It's only about your strength. So Regina has an organization with like 200 people working for them. Do you have a particular small team that works with you or for you on a regular basis?
Yes, I have several teams. For example, I have like the people who do production, and then I have the team who do all the administrative things, and the financial team, and the managerial staff. So it's like the different teams that I get to work with on a day-to-day basis.
So she's dealing with a lot of different, beautiful, perfect MOs out there. And we're going to move forward just to understand more about what the Kolbe A results are, and then how we can interpret them or use them for our organizations in order to work better with the people that we work with on a daily basis. Or if we actually feel like we're having a struggle with one of our peers or with one of the people in the team, then we can also like maybe do Kolbes with them and figure out what is going on. Because a lot of the times, it's not about the person. Sometimes it's about the Kolbe A to Kolbe A, which is how we compare and how we're communicating as human beings. And other times it's about really that the people at their job are having a lot of stress because this goes silent. It's unrecognized, and we try to look for it. That's why the consulting part is so important here. We try to look for solutions in different areas, and we miss the most important thing, which is who is this person that you have in front of you, and how is this person perceiving the role they're in? Okay, that's the Kolbe B. The Kolbe B result gives you the picture of how you're perceiving your job. And when you have someone in your team or in your organization that is not performing well, we can actually figure this out by doing these assessments, figuring out if the person is having a personal problem or if it's a strain between you and that person based on the way you communicate, and then you learn how to communicate differently based on their strength and your strengths, or if it's a relationship between the way they see their work and they're probably placed in a position that is making them do things not naturally, and we're not utilizing their assets in the best way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it helps you put people in better roles without having to lose them, or maybe modify their role to actually serve your company best with their strengths. So with all that said, I'm going to continue sharing this screen. And move forward, okay? So we got Regina today. For all of you out there, you know who you are, you know your role. And basically the benefits of Kolbe are individual benefits, team benefits, and organizational benefits. And also in your life, in relationships, and in your family, we can do this as well. For individuals, it helps you improve your efficiency because you actually learn the best ways you do things. It helps you develop as a leader, or it helps you develop other leaders. And it helps you increase engagement, because when you bring this to your organization, now you have a common language, a common understanding of who each person is on your team. And when we bring it to the team, you enhance the communication because you learn how the other person needs to be served or helped in order to be more efficient at the end of the day. So you can collaborate more efficiently. This helps you save time. It reduces stress and tension. It enhances your communication, and it helps you boost performance in the organization, starting with your teams. And like I was sharing before, TC and I have very different Kolbes. Like there are just a small percentage in the world of people who have your exact same Kolbe, but they exist around there. And over the last month, I actually found like 3 or 4 people who have my same Kolbe, which was very interesting. But TC and I, for example, I initiate action as a fact finder, and we're going to see this in a few minutes. And TC initiates actions as a quick start. So fact finders tend to take a little bit more time to start to take risk, because we need more information. But we also deliver a lot of information, which you will see in my presentation today. And I was very good at not putting too much. And there are quick starts. They just want to get to the point, and they want to move on, and they want to do something else, and they want to move forward. So if you have 2 people working together, one is a quick start, and it actually did happen to me in real life in an organization, and we had a lot of strain together. Like we were not seeing eye to eye. And when I finally saw the Kolbe, I was like, oh wow, I understand now why. She was a quick start, and I'm a fact finder. And even though both of us are great, we were working together, we were not communicating properly, or it felt like we were not communicating properly, because we did not look at our Kolbe before. So I was trying to ask questions to find out more information, and she felt micromanaged. So she got very upset. And then she wanted to move forward. But then when I wanted to move forward, she was already somewhere else. So it created a lot of strain, and it really, really held us back as an organization, because we were both team leaders. So organizational wise, you can use Kolbe to hire and retain successful talent. When you're hiring someone new, Tis is doing this right now, and I'm going to help her with that. We're going to give her a Kolbe A to the team she wants to hire, to match with her strengths, so that this team helps her in her weaknesses, which in Kolbe, we do not talk about weaknesses. We talk about, we're going to bring in a new person to help her in the areas in which she doesn't have strength, like follow through. And then you can find the right people for the right role. And this amplifies your culture, cognitively speaking, and the culture of the people that you have in the organizations. Because what happens a lot of times is that we tend, as leaders, we tend to clone a person for our team, because we think we want someone exactly like us. And I'm going to share this with TC later, and she's going to come back and share with us. If you hire someone who's just like you, then when you're not there, who's fulfilling the other part that you're needing help with? So that's why it's so important to have a team that has synergy, not only that has synergy, but also that everybody's doing something that needs to get done in the project or in the organization. Does that make sense, Regina, or I'm talking too much and you're not?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So
it's like your complement, right?
Exactly. You need to complement the spaces with the strength of other people. You need to complement the spaces of the strength that you don't have, because you have others, with someone else that can help you with that part. And we can do this with Kolbe in many different ways that I'll explain some of them today. So Kolbe talks about the cognitive part of your mind. There are 3 parts of our mind, not our brain, our mind as human beings. One is a cognitive, which is what we know, what we think, which is our IQ levels, skills that we can learn by practice, and failing and practice and failing. The way we reason goes through our thoughts, our brain. our knowledge, our experiences, all of this is learned. Then we have the affective part of the brain, which is our feelings, our emotions. And these are what we desire, what motivates us to move forward, what are our attitudes, what are our preferences, what are our emotions, and what are our values. They come from the affective part of our brain. And the great thing about Kolbe that makes it totally different to all the other assessments out there is that it's going to measure the way you do things, the way you initiate action before the other two kick in. And this is your natural instinctive way, what you were born with, okay? Your natural born strength. So the doing helps you with your drive, helps you trust your instincts, helps you with what you actually need, helps you save mental energy or actually work against your mental energy if you don't really know your Kolbe and you're working against it. It helps you with those innate forces, a natural way of you to be in this world and the natural way for you to work and be in relationships on a daily basis. And it also focuses on your talents, okay? So basically what we're going to do in this exercise is we're going to experience in our body what the whole 3 parts of the brain we're talking about, but specifically in the doing part with this exercise. Are you ready, Regina? I don't know if Tisi there. Tisi, you want to do this exercise with us? Because it's very cool to do it. So have you done this before, any of you?
No.
Just by looking at the screen? Okay, so this is what we're going to do the first time around. What we're going to do is just read the colors. So we're just going to read the words like red, blue, white, yellow, green, okay? So when I say start or when I say go, we're going to start reading all of this, okay? In order from the top to bottom, from left to right. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yes? So for example, I'm going to do it one time. Red, blue, white, yellow, green, like that. We're going to go down until the last one. Mm-hmm. And we're going to do it together. Are you ready?
Yes.
Set, go.
Red, blue, white, yellow, green, pink, red, green, white, purple, red, green,
orange,
red,
blue,
red, yellow, white, green, red, pink.
Okay. That was from 1 to 10. How easy was it?
Easy for me.
Okay. So now what we're going to do, which is kind of like testing our Kolbe instincts here, is we're going to read or tell the color. We all know, like cognitively, because we learn that color red is red, the color yellow is yellow, but that's something that we learned. That's not something that's naturally instinctive in us, okay? So what we're going to do right now is that we're going to actually tell what color is the first word, what color is the second word, what color is the third word. So for example, pink, yellow, blue, red, pink, okay?
Okay.
So we're going to read it again, but instead of reading the words, we're going to read or tell the color, okay? Ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Rosa,
Pink,
amarillo,
yellow,
azul,
blue,
rojo,
red,
rosa,
pink,
verde,
green, yellow,
amarillo,
red,
rojo,
pink, blue,
rosa, azul,
green, red,
verde,
green,
rojo,
purple, pink,
verde,
yellow,
rosa,
blue, red,
amarillo,
pink, green,
azul,
red,
rojo, rosa,
yellow,
verde,
Yellow, blue,
rojo,
red,
amarillo,
pink, green,
verde y azul.
red, yellow. Okay. What difference do you see from the first to the second?
More effort. You really need to focus on seeing the color and not reading.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. So can you feel that your brain is actually having to work harder?
Mm-hmm.
This is exactly what happens to us when we're going against our natural instinctive strengths of doing things. So at the end of the day, our brain tends to be like our cellular phones or our computers. If we, when you open up your camera on your phone, it drains your battery a lot quicker. So if you're using your brain against your natural way of doing things, your energy levels or your brain energy is going, your mental energy is going to be drained a lot quicker during the day. And it's unbelievable when you really know what you need, when you really know who you are and how you do things through your Kolbe. And Regina, I'm going to invite you later on to, not today, so you can enjoy the presentation, because a lot of stuff is going to come up here. But when you go back, you can really see your results from a different light now after having this debrief, okay? Mm-hmm. Because when you will learn how to save mental energy at the end of the day. And who would like to have more energy at the end of the day, you know? So that's part of what we're doing with sharing your Kolbe. And let me try this again. Okay, so there are different types of cognitive stress. We just experienced a little bit of it right now with this exercise. And we define conflict as the cognitive stress that we perceive when two people have differing strengths. Like I shared before, it was a personal experience of mine with this person that we were working in the same organization. We had different Kolbes. Some of our strengths really did not work in our favor. Now that I know this information, now that I know Kolbe, and that I use Kolbe with all my clients and all my alliances with TC, I was able to recognize why was she giving me this crazy face? Like, Angie, are you kidding me? Like, you need something else? Another paper? And honestly, it wasn't even really for me. It was more for the organization that her and I were doing this alliance with, which was ICS South Florida at the time. We needed to give them a lot of feedback from this program that we were doing together. So me as Angie, when I recognize my client or my alliance, their Kolbe, I tend to help them, whether it's for them to buy the product, whether it is for them to understand the instructions, or whether it's for them and I to move forward. If we know their results, we're going to be more efficient. We're going to connect in an easier way, and we're going to reduce this conflict from A to A. When we go to A to B comparison, we talk about strain. Strain is a struggle that happens between the person's perception of their job when it doesn't match their strength, okay? So like I said before, sometimes it's the way they think the job should be, and here comes the Kolbe C in place when Regina, for example, let's say Regina is having a problem with someone in the organization, and she calls me and tells me, Angie, I really need you to help me with this person or with this client, because we're just not understanding. In this case, will be someone who works for you, okay, or with you. They're not understanding what they need to do. So the person, we invite them to do the Kolbe B, which will give us the information of how they're perceiving their job. Or in the case of TC, if we get a Kolbe B, the new girl she wants to hire is going to share how she thinks she sees the position that she's been hired for. And for TC in this case, TC, the leader, takes Kolbe C, which is how you define the role in your organization. So when a person, which in this case is a Kolbe A result, compares to a Kolbe C, we can release tension, because this is when the job evaluator requires different strengths than those of the current job holder. Is this making any sense or not yet? Hello?
Yes, it makes sense.
Yes.
So these are the 3 different assessments that we can use to completely help you upside down and from the inside out, to reduce the cognitive stress and to reduce conflict, strain, or tension in your organizations. So the Kolbe A index, let's start with this one. Kolbe A's index is your personal MO. It's your perfect strength, your mode of operation. Your mode of operation is a natural pattern of behavior when you're free to be yourself and when you're taking purposeful action. It's unbiased. They're not biased by gender. They are positive and predictive. They focus on your strengths. So that gives you a predictive of performance, because that's who you are. And Kathy Kolbe has identified everything that falls into every category. So that way you can have a predictivity of your pattern and of other people's patterns. And that way it's how we can reduce this positive strain or stress or conflict almost 100%, because you can predict these performances. And it's valid and reliable because they never change. Like I said before, you can take it many years from now and it's still the same. I did take it again because I was very curious 5 years later, and just like one number changed, or, but they still stay within the same ranges. So I am still my first Kolbe at the end. When you start looking at your results, it's going to be measured in different ways. I mean, it's going to be measured in 4 different continuums, okay, which is your instinct-based action modes: the fact finder, the follow through, the quick start, and the implementer. What does this mean, Angie? You keep mentioning this stuff, and you're going to see it better with the results in the next slide. This means that a person who initiates action as a fact finder is going to be more specific when gathering information. It's going to need more of that information. And a person that has a very low number on fact finder, which means they do not initiate in fact finders, they're going to be more simplistic. They're going to need less amount of information. And so forth with the other action modes, okay? Fact finder is the way we gather and share information. We all have fact finder in us. We all have follow through. We all have quick start. We all have implementers, just in different ways. There is strength in those ways that we have each one of these continuums, okay? So for someone who initiates in follow through, which I believe is Regina initiates in follow through. So she tends to be more systematic. So if I'm giving Regina a bunch of information, she's probably trying to think in her head, like, how am I going to put this in to work for me? And what is going to be the process? What's the first step, the second step, the third step for anything to really happen at the end of the day? And that means that she initiates action by thinking about how to organize and design whatever is being thrown at her. Okay. And the person who's remember, everybody has follow through. Regina has a high follow through of 8. If someone has 1, 2, or 3, then they organize and design in a different way. It means they try to adapt to whatever way of processing step by step there is, as long as it works for her and she doesn't have to think about it. Or she might need someone to come in and help her and get a system in place so she doesn't have to think about how to systematize, because it's not in her natural instinctive strength, okay? Same with quick start. In Tizzy's case, she's a quick start. She initiates action by dealing with risk and uncertainty right away. For me, Angie, I'm a fact finder. I need to think about it. My fact finder is 7 and my quick start is 6. They're very close together. So when I find enough information, I jump to take risk and to deal with uncertainty. For Tizzy, she deals with uncertainty right away. Before she gets any information, basically, she's like, okay, cool. Where are we going? What are we doing? I don't need to follow. I don't need to think about the process. I don't need information, because she's a 3, 3, 8, 5. Okay. And someone who has a lower mode here, it's a stabilizer. And all of this is really in your Kolbe results, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time like boring you with all this detailed information. I'm going to share it with you, but you can read it in your own personalized Kolbe. And same with implementer. We all have the 4, we just have different numbers. So implementers, how you handle spaces and tangibles. Visionaries have a low implementer. Those who like to demonstrate and solve problems by demonstrating the models and preventing risks, they start here in a higher mode of implementer. And the other thing we measure in these continuums here on the right is the 3 operating zones. The initiate action is when your numbers are from 7 to 10. The reactive mode is when you're in 4 to 6. And the counteractive mode it's 1 to 3. All of these are strengths. None of these numbers represent a lack of anything at all, okay? The initiate action is the way you solve problems. The way you accommodate opportunities is where you react. And where you prevent problems is the other numbers. So all of this is helping you, and it's here for you to grow more into knowing what are your Kolbe strengths. There are 12 of them, and you do not have to have all of them. You're capable of using any of them, but you have 4 that are most natural to you. Does that make sense? TC, is it making more sense now at all?
Yes, absolutely. That's why I
So-
wanted just to, quick start. Okay, I know who I need to hire.
So,
That's my quick start. Yeah, I know. I don't need more.
TC seems to think that she already knows, and Kathy Kolbe tells us not to guess, that your Kolbe A is going to give you the right results, the best results for you to make your decisions and communicate. And and honestly, I made this slide from scratch today for TC especially, so you could have all the information very quickly in one slide, okay? This was not made before in my company, I made it today. So you can see in all detail what a person, when you get your results, TC, for your girl tomorrow, you can go to the slide and kind of like read through very quickly. You and I are going to go through it together, but you can also do it on your own and kind of read it and see what it says. I know you're not going to do it because you're a quick start, but I'm just sharing with you, okay? For Regina, this is where you are, Regina. You're a fact finder. You have a 7 in fact finder. You have an 8 in follow through. So you initiate action. I'm going to go back here real quick just to remember this. You initiate action, and you start by solving the problem. Okay, by solving the problem, you initiate action here in creating the plan, organizing the information and materials, and bringing focus and closure. Does this sound like you at all, or not really?
Yes, totally.
Yeah. And then you have you're an 8, and you have a co-action mode. Co-action mode means that you initiate and follow through, but you also like to research in-depth information and establish specific priorities and develop complex strategies. Does this make any sense?
Yeah.
Laura Esgro is also here, Angie, if you want to find.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome back.
Thank you so much. I have to admit that I didn't do the assessment, but I am learning, and I think it will be a lot easier when I do it.
Hold on one second, because I think, Laura, that I have. No, you didn't do it. I thought I saw your results here somewhere. No.
No,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So
I discussed it with Wendy and Eva. We discussed Wendy's results. Unfortunately, she's in another time zone, so she couldn't join.
Okay, but no worries. We're recording this so everybody can have it and take it and listen through and move forward with it. And I'm going to kind of move. We started at around 5:15, so we're going to go into 6:15. So I'll go very quickly. We already did an exercise to kind of feel our cognitive strengths and when we work against them. And this is the quickest slide to have everything in there that will help you understand more which continuum are you in and what are the descriptions, the basic descriptions of who you are or someone else there. So this would have helped you today, Laura, with your friends and with the other members to really kind of like go through the results. I created this today for all of you, so it's a special extra gift. So this is the way that you and each person naturally take action, the 12 Kolbe strengths. Do you feel, TC, that this is giving you a better picture of understanding after reading your results and talking about it?
Yes, absolutely. The only thing that I would love to learn is the difference between A and B. What give me the B? Because I don't understand that part.
Okay, we're gonna get there because we're on Kolbe A, which is your personalized results. Okay,
that's why I didn't understand.
Yes, we're gonna get there, and if we have to stop and kind of share yours, we will go through that so that people can see theirs when they get them. And honestly, we could figure something out later and send them an offer if they want to do it in a different, with a special discounted price or whatever. But for now, what happens with the Kolbe results, beautiful ladies, is that these are all the options there are. We already talked about the different results that we have with each other. If we had people here, we would have them kind of share about their different results and maybe do a little breakout room so you have a little bit of time to talk about your differences and maybe your similarities. And today we're not going to do that because of time. So we're going to continue moving forward. And I wanted to share with you that you may find these results in your Kolbe A, which is a facilitator. Facilitators do not have anything below 1, 2, and 3, and they do not have anything above 7, 8, 9, or 10. The facilitators only navigate between 4, 5, and 6. Okay, between what it's read in here as react. Give me 1 second, ladies, because I have give me 1 second. TC, can you mute me for a second?
Muting. I didn't get it.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm going to do this because I have my son knocking on my door.
Okay.
Okay, so here I'm going to go share my screen again because so this way when you're seeing your results, you don't freak out that, oh my God, I don't see any of the other stuff Angie was showing. So here are your another way you can get Kolbe results is that you could be a facilitator, which you're in the middle of all of this. So it does not have any numbers above 6 in the amount of cognitive energy and contributes by accommodating the needs and bringing the talents of others. So these are very special people, honestly. And there aren't like a lot of them, but there are. My Kolbe partner friend that I do Kolbe with that actually got me into Kolbe, she's a facilitator and she's pretty amazing at trying to figure out how to help everybody, you know? And they easily switch between modes as needs rise. So it's like a music play, like they're playing music all the time. So they can go up and down depending on the needs of the situation in their lives, okay? So maybe sometimes it's cool to have a facilitator. It would be great to have a facilitator at home and in the office, right? Someone who can kind of accommodate to whatever's happening and keep cool and not hold on to their reactive modes or initiating modes, right? The other result that you can find for yourselves, which some of the people who took actually are in transition, it's a transition result. It happens only in 10% of the index takers at any given time. And it's really due to personal or professional change. So when you're going through life transitions or challenges, not all the time, but a lot of times it can show up as transition and it will have an asterisk somewhere. Don't try to guess your Kolbe because we cannot tell what your Kolbe is. It doesn't matter where those asterisks are, okay? And you can retake when ready, but really, if there's a doubt, if you have doubt, you can take it like a month later or 2 months later. So a few months later, we're going to come back to you and say, hey, you took this Kolbe. So those of you who are here today, or those of you who are yet to do their Kolbes, when you get your results, if you're in conflict, if you're in transition, I'm going to know because I'm getting your results. You can contact me. I'll give you my info at the end, but I'm also going to reach out to you and say, hey, don't worry, it says you're going through some stuff right now. In a few months, we can retake it again and we'll see where you are and you can get your actual strengths, because when you're in transition, you don't have your strengths. So somewhere along those lines, you're going against your natural instinctive way of doing things, or somewhere along those lines in your life, you're going through a lot. And honestly, I would love to be there to help you navigate the transition, okay? At the end, this is a slide that I also created today that I love. We should be very aware and bring cognitive inclusion to our organization, because you know what, how powerful it is. Well, the benefits is reducing conflict between you and your significant other, if it's your family, or between you and your team, or between you and another person in the team, or between you and their role, the job that they're seeing in a different way. You can communicate more effectively because now I know how to talk to TC. I cannot give her a bunch of information because she's gonna be like, what's the point? I don't get it. And now she knows that I'm gonna ask her for a bunch of stuff when I work with her. I'm gonna ask her for questions because I'm a fact finder. So it'll help the communication more to be more effective instead of us sitting there thinking the other person is whatever, now we know who they are. And collaboration strategically, like we mentioned before in our team, to place the right people on the job, or to place different strengths for us in our team. So if Regina has 200 people in her companies, and maybe they're stuck somewhere, whether it could be in production, maybe they're not communicating properly some things in the production department or in the productivity department because they have different way of doing things. Some people want to build the models before they actually move forward, and that's perfectly fine. It's safe when you are actually building a product. And others like me in the implementer, I can imagine the product at the end of the day. I don't need to build it to actually understand the big vision of where are we going. But we need both. Can you imagine if, like Apple Computer didn't have implementers, 7, 8, 9, or 10 in implementers to build the model before they build a computer? We wouldn't have stuff to build for us, or the buildings will fall down because we wouldn't have the implementers taking care of the little details and the construction if we were just envisioning and just drawing them without taking care of those little details of the creation of the product. Okay. I don't know why I stopped this. Let me go share again. How are we doing so far? Is it giving you a better understanding of the Kolbes that you both have?
Yes.
And for Laura, you're gonna, by seeing this, when you get your results, then you'll be able to see where you fall. If you have just to have your MO as a regular MO, or if you happen to have a co-action mode, like Regina does, because she has 2 modes that she initiates action with, 7 and 8. So she could be initiating action, mostly trying to find the system, but other times she could be initiating action when she's actually looking for information before making decisions. And there are other options, which is you can be in transition, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with you. There's just probably conflict somewhere happened, change in your life. And which I'll be curious, Laura, now for your Kolbe. I want to see it. Take it. Did you get the email, Laura? Can you check your email just to make sure you received it, please? And your interpretations, I don't want to spend a lot of time here because I want to be conscious with the time we have left. I just want to bring this up to you because I'm inviting Regina to go back to her results, and Laura is going to start getting hers. You got a perfect score. There's nothing more than you need to have or less. This is the way you came into this world. This is your natural way of being. It's amazing. And the sooner you embrace it, the sooner you're going to start working in your favor, and you're going to be a much happier person for you and those around you. And then you're going to be smart enough to maybe come and talk to me and figure out what else can we do to help you with your team, or maybe with your role in your job, if something in there is not in alignment. Or like TC and all of us, like I'm also about to hire someone. I actually do have an assistant right now. I'm looking for someone bilingual, but she's only in Spanish, and her Kolbe fits me perfectly because she has something that I need in her Kolbe that are not my strengths. So when you look at your interpretations, go to page 1 and look at your perfect result. You can also go to page 5. We could have kind of done this exercise, which is go and find your strengths, and describe one way that you could use your strength at work. And when you're doing this for one particular organization, like your team, it's a great way for you as a leader to bring more synergy with the team, to get to know each other in a different way, to bring in the cognitive inclusion. And from that day on, when you have this type of meetings with your team or with the people you work with, things are going to shift. There will be a big shift in the way you communicate, because you respect a different part of yourselves, because you really get to know who you are in there. And then last but not least, Kathy Kolbe, who's like almost she's past her 80s right now. So I suggest you go and listen to what she has to say, because she's a creator of all of this. Her father started it in the investigations and she continued it. And one of my favorite parts in the results, besides DMO and understanding all of this information, is going to the pyramid of energy. The pyramid of energy, she tells you there what to do, how to do it, and the productivity do's and don'ts. There are a lot of tips. You almost don't even need me, except that you do at the end of the day, because we're human beings and you don't have everything in your Kolbe debrief, but you have a lot of information for you to move forward with reducing your own cognitive misuse of your mental energy. So the pyramid of energy talks about your mental energy. And here you have the same amount. It's like your battery on your phone. We all have 100% ergs, which is a way that we measure energy, ergs, ERGs. And we all have 100 ergs every day. Depending on how we use this, we're going to deplete that energy. It's like your phone is charged 100%. And if you only use your phone to get phone calls, or maybe use your phone just to check your messages real quick, and you don't open any other tab, you're going to be fine for most of the day. But if you start opening tabs, and you start, especially if you open like Canva, or if you open like your pictures, you're going to drain and deplete that 100% energy of the day. Same is with our brain. We have, and this is on page 10 of your Kolbe index, okay? We have 100 ergs every day. And depending on your Kolbe results, you need to use that energy wisely so that you don't have cognitive stress at the end of the day. And for this particular result here, she uses a result from a lady we saw before. I don't want to go back, but I could go back. Milton, let me just go back real quick and I'll show you who it is, maybe. I think, no. She uses a result from someone they have in their as an example, as a sample. And this person needs to be using most of the mental energy of the day as a fact finder to get specific information, okay? Then 30% of the day, this person is going to use their follow through in the way that they do, not in the way that Regina does. They're going to use it in the way that they do, because that's not their initiating. That's not the way they initiate action. This person initiates action through fact finding. So they need to spend a lot of the time doing what they need to do to get the specific information they need to move forward throughout the day. And then they're going to spend 30% going through the processes that they already know that work for them, maintaining those processes step by step. And they're going to use only 20% to do any change or modify, because they don't have a lot in quick start, okay? And they're going to envision. They need to spend very little time in envisioning, because if they spend most of the day envisioning, they don't see the specifics of what they need to do. They don't see how to maintain what they need to do. They're going to deplete their mental energy. Any questions so far, ladies? Beautiful ladies there.
No, wonderful. Laura,
I have one question.
connection.
Yes, Regina?
Yes, I'd like to know, so are these strengths, are you able to change your strengths during time, or are you born with those strengths, or how does it work?
Yes, you are born with them. This is your natural way of doing things. And we have seen very, 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 very few cases of a person who took the Kolbe many years ago, and because they were so used to going against their natural instincts, the person took it again years later, and Kathy Kolbe said, hey, one way or the other, you either never did things your natural way and you've been living with a lot of stress, or this second result is not really your result. You know what I mean? So this, what makes Kolbe beautiful is that this is who you are. And in a VUCA world that we live in today, where there's a lot of volatility, uncertainty, changes, and I forget the A right now, and ambiguity, to have the wisdom to know who you are that doesn't change. I think it's beautiful, and I think it's very powerful at the end of the day, because this is the one thing that you can count on, that if you know about yourself and you really follow the do's and don'ts that we share with you in the Kolbes, and then your coach can coach you around doing it in the best possible way, you're going to feel free to be yourself in a world that's constantly changing, because there's one thing that you don't have to change. And honestly, this is going to help you connect with your instincts and with your trust, your inner trust, on making decisions next time, because you know what you need to make those decisions. And once you have it, you're going to say, yes, let's go, because there's a heck yes in my stomach, because I already got my Kolbe and I know how to move forward with this. Does that make sense?
Thank you, Angela.
And did Laura have another question?
No,
No?
te contaba que Laura se le cayó internet, me contactó por WhatsApp.
Oh, okay. So with your pyramid of energy, everyone has the equal amount of cognitive energy. We'll have 100 ergs a day. Your mental energy is finite. So every day it's over. And she said that you should be using all of your mental energy every day. But if you're using it in your favor, it's not going to feel horrible. It's going to feel like you're flowing, like you're in the zone doing your things, you know? And you have an ideal way to use your available energy. That's what she's saying at the end of the day. So what are your biggest insights so far would be the question, you know, would be my question right now. And I want you to think about it after you read your Kolbe, Regina, and after having this quick debrief. Usually these debriefs that I'm doing today in like an hour, like a million miles an hour, should take at least like an hour and a half. So it gives us time to actually part into rooms and go over our Kolbe results and really share these type of questions, you know, like, for example, what are your biggest insights after we've talked this far, and after you've seen your Kolbe results and read your results and read what Kathy Kolbe has in there for you. And then there's big questions on when do you feel most productive and when do you feel least productive in your day. And I would like to hear both of you really quickly before I continue moving forward. When do you feel most productive or least productive during your days?
So I feel more productive in the mornings, right after exercising. I'm like, I have like an energy boost very early in the morning and during the whole morning. And then at this time of the day right now, I'm just like least productive. I'm like a little bit unfocused.
How much of today you think you have focused on those processes, the step-by-step procedures?
Today?
Yeah.
I always do. I guess it's part of me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And for you, TC?
My mornings are the best moments of my concentration, focus, everything. So for example, my exercise, I need to do it at the end of the day because that's when my mind is, you know, so I put everything in my body, but my mind at the morning, oh my goodness, super creative and very focused. Actually, I woke up at 5 or 6 a.m. in order to take advantage of the morning, of the quiet of my house. Yeah.
Okay, and what besides your meditation and your centering, what's the first activity you feel you need to do in the morning to get your day going?
No, for example, the last writing. For writing my books and my for writing is the morning. Yeah.
Okay.
And yes, and study and create content.
So for TC, she's go as a quick start, and at the end of the day, when she's done, she just gets the exercise done. And for you, it's the other way around. And we have like 5 more minutes. So you want me to finish the presentation so you can take it?
Yes, please.
So let's go share the screen, and we're gonna go here, and then you can do the exercises later. So basically, when we collaborate with others, we reduce conflict, communicate effectively. And the cognitive communication, this is the ways that you can communicate better with others. And this is what I was saying, whether you're working or it's in your relationships, when you understand the other person with this particular slide, you know how to go about communicating. What are the key words to use? What are the best ways to reduce that cognitive stress or tension with the others? And if you're a fact finder, you need written words, and if you're a follow through, you need more charts. If you're a quick start, you need spoken words, ad-libs, something very quick and in the moment. And these are the keywords: new, unique, or challenges. This is how you can communicate with that particular person to get their attention and to really get to the point at the end of the day and to be more effective. So this helps in effective communication with you and others. And I'm going to move faster because the information there is very self-explanatory. And to reduce cognitive stress, like we saw before, we have this different Kolbe A's versus the B, which is your perception of your job, and the C, which is the job requirement. And these are ways that you can actually compare Kolbe A to Kolbe A and see the level of conflict that there are between two people and how you can solve this conflict by doing this comparison A to A. In the case today, we were talking about the B index, which is how you perceive your work. So this person here has their Kolbe index results. This is how they perceive their role, and they already have a Kolbe A. So we compare the Kolbe A to the Kolbe B. And the exercise here was something different I was going to make you do, but we're not going to do it right now in order to go faster. So when you compare your Kolbe B to your Kolbe C, or when your Kolbe A and your Kolbe B are not, obviously your Kolbe A and your Kolbe B are not going to be exactly the same. But when you compare the Kolbe A to your Kolbe B, you're going to see how you work, how you're working, how your Kolbe A compares to your Kolbe B shows you if you have a high, medium, or low level of stress in the way you perceive your job. In the case of TC, which I was sharing before, it shows that you have high, right now, in this moment, you have high stress between that correlation, because your Kolbe has certain results, and the way you perceive what you need to do, it's like you need strength from someone else to help you. And it's beautiful to see it like this, because now it can help you find the right person to fill that gap. And you can reduce some of that stress that is showing for you right now in your work, okay? And I just wanted to try to share that on the screen so we can see it, because I didn't have it, I don't know why, on the presentation. So this is TC's results for her A, and these are TC's results for her B, okay? Regina, can you see like the difference in here? She has an 8, and she's the quick start she sees is the same, but she perceives her role as follow through. She needs a number 7 for her job, and TC only has 3, which means that she needs to hire someone to fill in the gap here of her follow through, to get things done, to get the strategy, which you have tons of. That's why I was teasing that you could work with her, because you have a lot of strength that TC needs for her role. Now, that's the only space in which this one and the implementer TC, okay? So those two are in the report, are showing a high strain analysis, okay? You have high strain there in the way that you move during the day. So the planning tools that you're using, they're telling you here what to do. Try to allow more flexibility without letting yourself force, but in order to get less flexibility, you have someone doing those things for you. You need to mark your meetings and tasks. You told me you have like 3 different calendars, because if not, like you forget, or right?
Yes, I need to like my calendars, yes.
So this is showing what she needs in her role and what she is, and how she can actually reduce that strain for herself, but the best way at this point for her is just to hire someone who has those abilities in order to reduce that strain and to trust that someone else has her back, while she can move as a quick start into innovating something else. Okay, so 2 more minutes and we're almost done, I promise you.
I think okay.
So at the end, take your B, Regina, so we can send you your comparisons. And at the end of the day, take this away with you. You ask yourself to minimize stress. Do I have to get this done right now? If not, just delete it from your day. Or ask yourself, does it have to be done by me? If not, delegate, which is what Tiz is going to do right now with this new girl. And if you do have to have it, do it in a way that works with your Kolbe strengths that we just talked about, okay? And these are other ways that you can minimize stress by redirecting the talents to someone else. And basically, this was an exercise, and that's it. What is one thing that you will do differently as a result of today?
Beautiful.
And I'm going to, just for the sake of the recording, the definition of success is the freedom of being yourself by Kathy Kolbe. And here is my personal information. So right now, we're just gonna like come back and say thank you for staying here, Regina, with us the whole day and participating. And just, I would love to hear one takeaway from both of you after today's presentation, and you both have your Kolbe, so.
Okay, my personal learning, my takeaway is that I need to take more risks and do more of a quick start in many, many things.
You want to take more risks?
Yes,
Why?
because it would make me do different things that I wish I could do right now.
Okay, but
Mhm.
that's interesting because that's going against your natural way of doing things.
But that's what I want to do.
Okay, then you tell me about it. It doesn't mean that you cannot take the risk.
Exactly.
It means that it's going to feel like stressful and different for you to take the risk, but you can do it all. You can do them all at the end of the day. So your takeaway is that you want to take more risks, even if it's against your grain.
Even if it's stressful.
Okay. Well, that's fine. And TC, for you?
I love it because it's like a reconfirmation that what I need is to hire people to help me follow through and implement, because yes, I really want to quick start another projects and things. And in my 50th anniversary, actually 51, is great. Okay, I would love to have I would love to have this tool before, because for me it was always what happened to me? I'm always worrying about the things, and I want to start another thing and start another thing, and this is part of my nature. So I wish everybody has the opportunity to do this kind of Kolbe assessment, because wow, it's wonderful to meet yourself and embrace yourself and find your team to enrich you and enrich them, because it's like a dance. So thank you very much, Ángela, for this gift, not only for us in this moment, for all the members that have the opportunity to took the Kolbe A and B.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. I want